Hey there, YouTube. I'm here today about to show you one of my other thin clients. I bought probably like 20 of these and I'm setting them up with Windows XP. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of this model. This is kind of a bulkier one, but it has a bunch of ports in the back. It's made by Wyse. And yeah, I'm gonna show you the outside and then I'll tear it apart and show you what I'm doing. All right, let's get started. All right, as you can see here, it's a nice looking little thin tower, and in the front of it we have the power switch. There's two USB 2.0 ports, and if we turn it around, it has a lot of nice little ports. It's got two serial ports. It's got a PS2 mouse and keyboard. It's got two DVI ports. This one right here can actually output VGA as well with a DVI to VGA adapter. This one is DVI-D only, so this could actually have a dual head monitor. It's got headphone out and microphone input, gigabit Ethernet, 4 USB ports, the 19-volt power adapter socket, and a Kensington lock style slot there. All right, so that's pretty much for the outside. I really like that this one you can do dual head, and that's because inside of this thin client is an ATI Radeon X1200 GPU paired with a Sempron. All right, so let me tear it apart so you can see the motherboard. Okay, so to open this up, you really all have to do is take off two screws. This one and this one, and then you lay it on the side. This part right here has some screws, so the other side is the top, and the top cover basically slides off like this, like that, and then lifts up. And this is the motherboard. All right, so let's take a look around here. Let's start off with the heatsink here. This is a passive device. There's no fan anywhere in this, which is really nice. And underneath this heatsink is a CPU and a GPU. I haven't taken them apart, so I don't know which one is which, but I'm assuming the CPU is over here, closer to the RAM, and then the GPU is over here, closer to the video ports. So, like I said, this has a Sempron single core, I believe, running at 1.5 gigahertz, and this is an ATI Radeon X1200 underneath, and it uses some of the memory from the DDR2 memory module here to run the video. So I think it takes out about 128 megabytes of video. Sorry, it takes 128 megabytes of RAM and dedicates it to the GPU. This is a DDR2 memory module, and this unit came with 512, and it's upgradable up to 2 gigabytes. And this one right now has a 1 gigabyte stick. In terms of storage, there are several options. You can see here that there are some SATA ports on the motherboard, but they use this proprietary or different power adapter that I haven't been able to figure out how to. I haven't been able to find the cable online, but you should be able to mount a SATA drive in here if you wanted to. However, I haven't done that. What I did is I upgraded the IDE disk on module from 128 megabytes to an 8 gigabyte model, and that's enough to install Windows XP on here. All right, so let me put this back together, and I am gonna load Windows XP and then I'll show it to you running on my monitor here. Alright, so here I am now again, and I have Windows XP installed, and I'm going to show you hardware info here. This little computer has a Sempron 210U, and it's got 264 kilobyte level 1 cache. It's a single core, and it's a 65 nanometer CPU. The base clock is 1.5 gigahertz, and it's got an ATI, the motherboard itself has an ATI M690G chipset with a Southbridge 600, and I have 1 gig of DDR2 RAM installed. The hard drive, the solid state hard drive, is an 8 gigabyte flash disk running at 66 megahertz UDMA. And this is the video card that is embedded on the motherboard. It's an ATI Mobility Radeon X1200, basically something that you would find in a laptop. And it's got 128 megabytes of DDR2 RAM shared. It's got a 400 megahertz CPU clock and a memory clock. And this doesn't seem right. I think that is much faster, but it might be throttling. I think the GPU clock is much faster than 66 megahertz. But let's see here. Oh yeah, and it's running at 1.5 gigahertz pretty much all the time. So yeah, that's this little guy, and I have a little demo here using 3D Mark 2001, where I can show you the 3D gaming performance of this before I let you go. Okay, so let me do the benchmark. You never know what's going to happen with these old pieces of software. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But the benchmark did work, so let's try that out. There you go. So you can see the HD 6250. You know, it's pretty good for some basic 3D gaming. Nothing high res. This is like 50 frames per second at 1024 by 768. But for a lot of Windows XP games, early 3D games, it's way more than enough. It's any DirectX game will work just fine. So yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, you know, let me know what you think in the comment below. Subscribe, and I will keep on putting videos of different thin clients that I have. I have a smaller version with a quad-core AMD and a more modern ATI Radeon video card. It's all passive, so it's really kind of cool to have a one of these gaming systems that fits neatly behind a monitor or something like that. So yeah, hope that was something that you enjoyed, and let me know what you think. Thank you. Till next time.